Roman Reigns wanted veteran star to be his writer before latter at himself fired from WWE. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jennifer, have a nice day. For the WWE family latest news update, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you. Jimmy Jacobs began his pro wrestling journey with a behind-the-scenes indies gig in June 1998. He later worked a few WWE enhancement talent matches, but is most known for his original ROH run. Jacobs was hired for WWE's creative writing team in March 2015, but was then fired on October 11, 2017, for taking a photograph with members of the Bullet Club, the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, Adam Page, during their Raw invasion outside the arena in Ontario, California. Jacobs recently opened up on a number of topics while speaking with former WWE star Rene Dupree on his Café de Rene podcast. After discussing his departure and how he was unhappy, the two-time WWE Tag Team Champion asked the Indie Wrestling Hall of Famer how long he had been with the Stamford-based company. Jacobs answered, and Dupree pressed further. The self-proclaimed zombie princess responded by admitting how hard it was working for Vince McMahon. He recalled working on the John Cena vs. Roman Reigns feud, which saw the Big Dog win a match at No Mercy 2017, and the Shane McMahon vs. Kevin Owens feud, highlighted by the prizefighter winning a Falls Count Anywhere Hayek match at Hell in a Cell that same year. Jacobs claimed Reigns wanted him to be his personal creative writer. I had a hard time working for Vince McMahon. I just wanted to, be able to play. I just wanted to, contribute. I didn't get fired because I was bad at my job. The last two things I was working on SmackDown, it was Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, and on Raw, it was John Cena versus Roman Reigns. After that John Cena-Roman Reigns story, Roman came up to me and wanted me to be his writer moving forward. I'm not saying that to, go. I'm saying, I didn't get fired because I was bad at my job, Jimmy Jacobs said. Jacobs debuted for TNA in November 2017 and worked as an on-air talent, producer, and creative writer. He left in June 2023 to join AEW as a producer and creative writer, but left in October 2024. The indie veteran has repeated how thankful he was for the opportunity in WWE and for being fired. Jimmy Jacobs returned to the indies just 4 days after being fired from WWE, referencing his release at an ROH show by taking another selfie with members of the Bullet Club. The Michigan native captured the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight Championship a month later and held that title for almost a year. Jacobs' immediate post-WWE return to the ring included other indie title reigns and matches with Colt Cabana, then AAW Heavyweight Champion Rey Fenix, Joe Gacy, then ACW TV Champion Ricky Starks, and then TNA World Champion Penta, among others. Speaking to former WWE star Rene Dupree on his Café de Rene podcast, Jacobs reiterated how grateful he was for the release and admitted he had a bit of resentment towards Vince McMahon. There's a part of me that kind of, resented Vince for not, seeing it. Maybe he thought I was just a weirdo, and I think the other people around me saw my value, but kind of he didn't. And so I acted out like a child, and I got fired. And when I got fired, I was relieved. It was I went back to the indies, I went to TNA. I was actually having a blast. I was having a really good time, and I just thought, boy, I would have stayed in WWE another 10 years and been miserable like everybody else there. I was so grateful. It was like a gift from the universe that I got fired to go, hey, look, you don't need to be somewhere that doesn't fit you anymore. You're allowed to leave and there's life after it. Because for me, it wasn't like I was on TV. You know, if you're on TV, at least you go, okay, there's equity being put into me on TV. And if I leave, I can take that equity and go somewhere else. As far as I'm concerned, Jimmy Jacobs disappears and dies for 2.5 years. Where am I going to work? Who's going to want me? What am I going to do? And so I was scared to leave. And so it was a gift, and I absolutely appreciate. I've got so much love for my time in WWE and so much love for everybody there. That experience overall, it changed my life for the better. I learned so much, and it was great that I got fired. Dupree. I think it was a blessing. Yes, it was a blessing. Jimmy Jacobs said. Jacobs has held behind-the-scenes roles with AEW and TNA since he was fired by WWE. Regarding his in-ring career, the 41-year-old worked around 20 matches in 2017, then upped that number to 65, 75 in both 2018 and 2019. He wrestled less than 24 matches in 2020 to 2022, but has locked up more than 50 times in the past 3 years. Roman Reigns is arguably one of the biggest stars in the world of professional wrestling right now. Many fans believe he is the reason behind WWE's immense success over the past few years. WWE veteran and analyst Jim Cornette talked about how signing Reigns would be a major mistake for Tony Khan's company. On the latest Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru podcast, a fan asked Cornette if Reigns would be as big of a draw for AEW as CM Punk was. Replying to the fan, Cornette said, "Yes. I mean, if Roman Reigns showed up on AEW, I think a lot of people would be paying attention to that. See what was going to go on. Would he move the needle like CM Punk did at this point? I'm not saying he's necessarily a smaller star. I'm saying, is the needle capable of being moved as big as that now? Because when Punk got them over 1 million viewers, they were already at 800,000, 032 to 059. He also explained how there are nearly no stars for Reigns to feud with in AEW, unlike his many organic storylines in WWE. If Roman Reigns, regardless of what you called him, showed up tomorrow in AEW, who could he work with to draw money? He'd be in the same position as the Hurt Syndicate. There's no tag teams. The point I'm making is, you have almost nobody there that would be credible against a guy the level of Roman Reigns, and Moxley's their world champion. Can you see that match? 216 to 250. The Tribal Chief is one of the biggest stars WWE have ever created. It's nearly impossible that he will ever wrestle for another wrestling promotion. During the same podcast, Cornette spoke about how AEW can sign whoever they want, but they cannot sign the OTC. He elaborated how a lot of their signings have turned out to be immaterial over the past years. Cornette explained that a lot of AEW signings have just been short-term curiosity differences, and nothing more. Everything that we know about AEW that they can sign of course they're not going to sign Roman Reigns. Can't possibly. But I don't see who they could bring in that at this point would make anything but a short-term curiosity difference, because then they'll end up immaterial like everybody else they bring in. Roman Reigns has been away from WWE since the Raw after WrestleMania. He suffered a merciless attack at the hands of Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and has not been seen on television since. With SummerSlam around the corner, WWE might bring back the OTC, perhaps on tonight's edition of Raw, to kick off his feud for the grand spectacle. Seth Rollins is set to face Penta in a one-on-one match on the show tonight. Rumors have been buzzing that Reigns might make his return during this bout. He could save the Almeida from Rollins and company. The Visionaries faction is likely to be present ringside to interfere. They could unleash a merciless attack on the luchador, causing the match to end in a disqualification. Seth Rollins and company might attempt to annihilate Penta to make a statement. In a stunning twist, Roman Reigns' theme song could echo in the arena. Fueled with the desire for revenge, the OTC could storm into the ring and take out the heel faction. He could single-handedly destroy Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, causing Rollins to flee from the ring. SummerSlam is just 4 weeks away, and this could be the perfect time for Roman Reigns' return if WWE wants to feature him in a prominent storyline. Besides, fans have been clamoring to see the 40-year-old back on WWE TV for a long time. The creative team delaying it further could result in extreme backlash from fans, as they have already started to show frustration. However, Roman Reigns' return is still just speculation at the moment. Only time will tell what WWE has in store for him. Upon his comeback to the company, WWE is set to host its biggest SummerSlam in history this year from the MetLife Stadium in New York. It will be the first ever 2-night edition of the event, and hence the company is expected to feature some high-profile bouts on the show. A potential clash between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins could be in the plans. Reigns and Rollins are two of the biggest stars in WWE today. While they have a rich history together, they have not wrestled in a singles match since the Royal Rumble 2022. Therefore, the biggest party of the summer serves as the perfect stage for their next big showdown. Besides, WWE